Okay, let's get right into it. There is so much talk about the incredible promise of AI in the enterprise world, right? But what's actually happening on the ground? Well, that's a very different story. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and get to the real reason why so many of these big AI projects are just struggling.
I mean, let's just start with this. It's a pretty provocative statement, but you know what? It really nails a huge frustration in the industry right now. A lot of what gets called innovation is really just a pricey science experiment with no clear way of ever making money. So let's break down why that's happening.
So, you've probably heard about the tech hype cycle and that famous trough of disillusionment. Well, here's the thing. For enterprise AI, this isn't some problem looming in the future that we have to prepare for. No, it's here, right now. For a ton of companies, that feeling of disappointment is very, very real. And it usually starts with a few key myths that we absolutely need to bust.
And first up is myth number one, this idea that bigger is better. This is the belief that you can solve pretty much any problem you have by just throwing a bigger, more powerful AI model at it. It is hands down one of the most common and frankly, most expensive mistakes people are making out there today.
This really gets to the heart of the hype versus reality. The hype train tells you, just grab the newest, biggest large language model. Or use a fancy tool like RAG, that's Retrieval Augmented Generation, by the way. It's a way for AI to look things up. And you're good to go. But the reality? Oh, it is so much less glamorous than that. The truth is, the success of your AI hinges almost 100% on the quality of your data before that AI ever even lays eyes on it.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? An AI can only be as good as the data you feed it. If your data is a complete mess, a total swamp, the AI isn't going to magically clean it up for you. Nope. It's just going to start confidently making things up based on that garbage data. We call that hallucinating. And in a business, a confident but wrong answer, well, that can be an absolute disaster.
Which brings us right to myth number two. Just let it talk. This is this obsession with conversational AI, you know? The idea that the end goal is to just build a chatbot that can answer a few questions about your documents, but honestly, that's setting the bar way too low.
Come on, we've all seen these demos, right? Upload your company documents and chat with them. It looks cool, sure, but this is what we call shallow automation. Why? Well, because pretty much anybody can build one, which means it gives you zero competitive edge. That's the zero defensibility part. And even more important, it doesn't really change how your business runs, which means you get a really low return on your investment.
So the real goal here is to move past just talking and get to doing. And that's where this idea of agentic workflows comes in. We're not talking about an AI that just answers a question. We're talking about an AI that's actually allowed to go into your main systems, your ERP, your CRM, and do something. It's the difference between asking, hey, what's the status of this invoice? And saying, AI, approve this invoice and process the payment. That is where the real value is hiding.
And that leads us directly to our third and final big myth, treating AI like it's just an experiment. This is the mindset that lets AI projects become these endless science fairs with no real business goals and no accountability, and it is a surefire way to just light money on fire. This is such a critical shift in how you need to think. An AI project can't be treated like some academic research paper where it's interesting but nobody expects it to make any money. No way. It has to be treated like any other product. It needs a business case, it needs to have metrics for success, and it absolutely has to be held accountable for delivering real, tangible value.
And here it is. This is the single most important metric for proving that value. Look, your CFO doesn't care about cool tech demos. They care about the bottom line. Can you actually prove with cold, hard numbers that the cost for your AI to do a specific task is lower than paying a person to do that same task? Because if you can't measure that, your shiny new AI project isn't driving value. It's just another cost center on the books. So, if we've busted all those myths, what's the real winning formula? Well, it has way less to do with the hype around the latest model and a whole lot more to do with good old-fashioned, disciplined engineering. Take a look at this number, 90%. That's the estimated failure rate when AI teams try to take a project from a simple little prototype to a reliable, production-ready system that the business can actually count on. I mean, that is a staggering number, and the failure almost always happens at the exact same point. And this journey, right here, explains it all. Most projects, they start out in what's called a Jupyter notebook. Think of it like a data scientist's digital sketchbook. That's step one, the idea phase. But the goal, way over on the other side, is a rock-solid system running in production. And the gap between those two?
It's a massive chasm. That's the failure point. And the only bridge across it is built with the unglamorous, hard work of things like LLMOps and automated testing. Without that engineering discipline, you're not building a solution, you're building a liability. And at the end of the day, this is the main takeaway. This isn't a race to see who has the biggest, baddest AI model. The real winners in enterprise AI are going to be the ones who focus on building disciplined, robust, and measurable systems from the very beginning. It's all about the architecture, not just the algorithm. So let's wrap up with this. This is the question you need to be asking yourself and your organization. When you really look at your AI strategy, is it built on a foundation of measurable return on investment, on hard metrics, on disciplined engineering? Or is it just running on hype and hope and, well, expensive vibes? Because the answer to that question is going to determine whether you're building a real business asset or just another expensive science experiment.